The Quran's perfect preservation myth. Quran unchanged, scribal chaos says otherwise.
Muslims love to trumpet that the Quran is perfectly preserved. Every letter, dot, and divine squiggle locked in place since Muhammad's desert days, all thanks to Surah Al-Hijr verse 9. They wave it like a theological checkmate, scoffing at the Bible's corrupted manuscripts. But hold the falafel. Crack open the oldest Quranic manuscripts and you'll find a scribal circus of erasures, omissions, and insertions that make perfect preservation look like a bad stand-up routine. From Allah's name playing hide-and-seek to pronouns like huwa vanishing and phrases like the seven and the hour popping up late, the evidence from major Quranic manuscripts buries this claim in a dune of denial. Let's unpack the chaos and prove why believing in an unchanged Quran is like a bad joke, baseless, illogical, ahistorical, and frankly, a denial of reality. Scribal fumbles. Allah's name takes a vacation. If the Quran's divinely guarded, you would think Allah would be the last word to go missing. Think again. Dr. Daniel Brubaker's Corrections in Early Quran Manuscripts 20 Examples exposes a parade of oopsies in 7th to 9th century manuscripts, mostly in the Fustad Umayyad Codex, where the scribes, fascinatingly, forget to write the name of their god. The final Allah insertion shown in this example is found on a page from the Sanaa manuscripts. Question: if Allah's guarding every letter, why is his name getting ghosted in his own book? Who is Houdini-act? Missing pronouns? They're there, or rather, they're not. In the Topkapi Codex, commonly known as the Topkapi al-Mushaf al-Sharif, Brubaker highlights an insertion in Surah 972 where the word huwa was initially absent. A scribe later squeezed it in, fixing the grammar but exposing the text's fluidity. This particular post-production correction resulted in a manuscript that is now in conformity with the now standard Rasm or consonantal text of the 1924 Cairo edition. Very sus. If the Quran's perfect, why are scribes playing hide-and-seek with critical words? Insertions galore, the seven, the merciful, and the hour crash the party. The fun doesn't stop there. In BNF Arabic 327, part of Codex Parisino-Petropolitanus, Brubaker documents a post-production insertion of the seven, al-Sab, at Surah 2386, added by a later scribe and in a very different script style than that of the original scribe. Without it, it was grammatically fine but lacked the standard clarity of the modern text. Sus. Very sus. Still in the same manuscript, the words "the merciful" of Surah 42:5 were omitted at the time of production and have been added in above the line at a later time. The correction in this case appears to be the work of a different scribe. Then there's Marcel 7, where the hour al-Sa was inserted post-production as Surah 640 as a superscript insertion. It's possible that this is a more modern correction. Perfect preservation? More like a divine Word document in desperate need of spell check. Erasures and verb swaps, rewriting the divine script. Erasures are the smoking gun. In the manuscript Marcel 2 in the National Library of Russia, on folio 30V, nothing has been written to replace what was erased. The erasure follows the word akibatu of Surah 39. The word that comes next in the 1924 Cairo edition, alavina, is the first word written on the following page of this manuscript. So the Rasm now aligns at this point with the 1924 Cairo edition. In BNF Arabe 328a, an erasure was overwritten to stretch the text of Surah 3171, aligning it with the 1924 Cairo edition. Erasure marks are clearly seen, including some of the shapes of the letters of what was first written here. This change is clearly a later intervention. The result of this correction is a Rasm that conforms at this point with that of the 1924 Cairo edition. Another case in BNF Arabe 340b shows a verb declension changed via erasure and overwrite, flipping the grammatical structure. As it was first written, this verse read, "and he said." As it stands now on the manuscript page, and as it exists in the 1924 Cairo edition, this verse reads, "And they said, they must think nobody would notice the cover-ups." These changes aren't scribal hiccups, they're evidence of texts being massaged to fit a later official version. If Allah's promise in Surah 15:9 is ironclad, why are scribes redacting his word like it's a rough draft? Pre-Uthmanic mess, a textual Wild West. Before Uthman's standardization, the Quran was a textual free-for-all. Companions like Ibn Masud had codices that skipped surahs 1, 113, and 114, swapped words, and jumbled verse orders. Ubay ibn Ka'b's version had 2 extra surahs absent in today's Quran. Other companions had their own quirky versions too. Uthman burned these variants to enforce his chosen version. But why torch them if they are identical? It's like burning all your family photos to prove everyone looks the same. Sounds like Uthman was sweeping a mountain of variants under the rug. Perfect preservation? More like perfectly staged damage control and perfect suppression of evidence. The illogical leap of denial. These aren't minor errors as apologists like Dr. Taidar Tilkawatch claim. They're textual renovations that demolish the myth of an unchanged Quran. To believe in perfect preservation, you'd have to ignore thousands of corrections, dismiss omissions of Allah as trivial, and pretend Uthman's bonfire was just a barbecue. That's not faith, that's a PhD in denial. The historical record shows a text shaped by human hands, not divine lock and key. And take note, Dr. Daniel Brubaker only gives 20 examples out of over 1,000 corrections he found in his research. Just wait until he publishes all his findings. Checkmate, preservation fantasy. The Quran's earliest manuscripts are a scribal crime scene. Allah's name missing, added words, erasure overwritten, insertions all over the place, and entire phrases taped over. Pre-Uthmanic codices were a chaotic mess, and Uthman's standardization was a cover-up, not a miracle. Brubaker's evidence from Sanaa manuscript, Marcel codices, Codex Parisino-Petropolitanus, the Cairo Mushaf, and others proves the Quran was edited, tweaked, and standardized over centuries. Believing in perfect preservation isn't just baseless, it's illogical, ahistorical, and a rejection of the manuscripts staring us in the face. We could say the Quran's miracle of preservation is less convincing than a camel doing calculus.
Want to talk textual history? Bring your manuscripts, not your myths and slogans.
Game over.